When people think of spy movies, James Bond is usually what first comes to mind. However, there are other ways to depict the actions of secret agents, with the works of John le Carré being a notable example. With Black Bag, director Steven Soderbergh and writer David Koepp appeared to take some influence from the latter, showing the more ordinary office work that goes into a spy's job, along with a story about marital distrust. However, in trying to avoid a lot of the typical flashiness of the genre, Black Bag becomes a surprisingly dry affair with conversations that don't register much thrill or emotion. Despite its 90-minute runtime, the film meanders in large spots as we listen to the discussions between these spies. Married couple George and Catherine are depicted with a certain dryness which can come across as monotone. That's not Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett's fault, though. It's just the way they're written. The film does establish their relationships with other employees of the agency, mostly through a Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf type dinner scene, but they lack interesting personalities too. There's a coldness and distance that runs throughout Black Bag that makes it difficult to get invested in the actions of these spies. Not to say there are not a few inspired sequences that showcase their skills. We see how modern technology is used by these agencies, and Soderbergh does bring some energy to a few moments where George does some sleuthing behind his wife's back. However, because of how flat the main characters are, it can be tricky getting invested in the therapy sessions and office meetings they partake in. As mentioned before, the obvious influences from John le Carré, whose stories often involve ordinary meetings with an emphasis on showing the less glamorous side for the spy business and the distrust inherent in that profession. Koepp's screenplay just lacks the needed sizzle in the dialogue to make those scenes pop off the screen. The actors do commendable enough work, even with the material they're given. Fassbender plays his role not too dissimilar to his character from David Fincher as the killer, but that works in showing the way he calculates every decision. Cate Blanchett is fine enough as his wife, and Naomi Harris gives a solid performance as the agency's therapist. Pierce Brosnan stands out as the head of the agency. Obviously, there will be the comparison to James Bond, but this is an angrier, more serious character, and Brosnan handles that well. Black Bag had the potential to be an exciting subversion of the typical spy movie, but its dry approach ends up being a detriment. There's nothing wrong with doing something that shows the less flashy side of being a spy not commonly seen in entertainment, but there still needs to be some investment in the characters to get one to care about the proceedings. It is an example of Steven Soderbergh's constant interest in experimenting and trying something new with each film he directs, which is admirable, especially for a filmmaker who works as frequently as he does. There's just little to attach one to in Black Bag.